Hello. How's it going? I've added new scenes since I did this last, and now I don't know where anything is. And also, sorry already, I'm sniffly today. I've been sneezing a bunch because it's like super cold here. Like, I woke up and I immediately had to pull out the space heater for my room. It was that kind of cold here today. So, for anybody who needs cooler thoughts, I'm sending them your way. Because it's cold here. I always call it winter the second I need to pull out the space heater. So, because it was like 59 in my room when I woke up today, and that's too cold. That's like around 15 Celsius, just for the record. So it's a little chilly for the in of doors, if you will. Let's see. No votes so far. I know which one I'm going to pick if I do not end up with votes. So, because one of those was a redeem, which reminds me that I absolutely did not open up my redeem queue. Whether or not I open that is like, remember to open it before I actually start up is like maybe a 30-70 chance on not remembering. Oh, my poor laptop is already chugging. She's trying so hard. Sorry, I'm going to be super sniffly all day. If that starts getting really annoying for people, I will mute myself whenever I need to sniff. If I can remember that and actually notice when I'm doing it. I think it looks like I'm not going to get any votes today, which is fine. Not a big deal. I do also have a second art challenge lined up for if I finish the food paint challenge one right off the back, and I think both of them will be super fun. So, singular vote. Hello, singular vote. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Hi, Dora. How you doing? I will do Lampet at some point, but maybe we'll do Lampet properly because it's a nice Halloween-y Pokemon. It's a haunted lamp, basically. It starts out as a candle, and then it turns into a lamp, and then it turns into a chandelier. But it's haunted the whole time, as is essential, truly. Okay, I think it's going to be Blastoise. Blastoise is the most complicated out of these Pokemon, just for the record. And I will actually redeem, because that was Sky's suggestion. So I've left that in the command queues so that I didn't forget. So we're going to mark that as complete, because we're completing it right now. That's fair. That's fair. I've been playing a new game that I got. I mentioned it briefly in iStream. I found a new farming sim because one of the other streamers that I watched was playing it because she got gifted a key. And it looks so fun and original, and everybody in it is like really hot. So I've been playing that. It's still early access. It isn't available in the UK right now, but they're working on fixing that. One of the devs was in the stream talking with us about it. So I actually like bought it right off the bat just because like there were 3 different characters immediately that I was like, I want to romance that. Hi, what's up? It's called Cornucopia. And if I can make my laptop pull up the Steam page, I will share that. Just a moment. Because I have it in my history, so it shouldn't be too bad. And it is, I believe, still on sale right now. It was 20% off. And it was early access still, I think. So I joined their Discord and everything. So I'm having fun with it. I haven't gotten super far because I'm just playing a little bit at night before I go to bed. But But I'm enjoying it, and the person who I was watching, Elena Monster, who is also good, and I will give her a shout out too because I've been hanging out there a bunch. I don't know. I think that I'm smart enough to do that. No. I always forget that. It would make my life so much easier if they would just... There we go. That's Elena Monster. I've been hanging out with her a bunch, and she's just so cute and perky and just one of the cutest people I've ever seen in my dang life. But she got a key for this one, and so is playing it, and I decided that I needed to do that too. Okay, so vaguely focusing on what we're supposed to do is not... Yeah, it. They said specifically that it wasn't available in the UK right now. Theoretically, it's available everywhere else, but it is still early access, and the dev that we were talking to did say they're actively working on that. So there's something going on there. I'm not entirely sure what, but the characters that you can romance and stuff seem pretty diverse, which is nice. Like age-wise as well, which is good, in my opinion. And their fishing game seemed really original because it's like Bubble Plinko kind of, and that seemed interesting to me versus like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley fishing. Okay, Blastoise. That's what I'm doing. I know how to focus. For Blastoise, for like the original official art, there's like two poses that Blastoise does. He's either showing you his shell, or he's like looking at you 3/4 style. And I'm trying to figure out which way I want to go with that. Because I don't think either way the water guns are going to be easy for me to draw. Let's just go from the front, I guess. So we have a shell. I probably should be doing this in red instead of in black, but you know what? We're just gonna go for it. I once again do not know what kind of feats this creature has. But I do know that he has basically a Koopa shell kind of a thing going on. And I don't know, would you call them gun housings? Would cannon housing? Or a square? Then you have the guns. The guns. Kind of. I remember he has belly stripes. This looks like a disaster already. I love this. I love this for me. Sorry, I'm still like super sniffly. I even blew my nose and everything. Ports, perhaps that is the correct term. I'm like... You'd think since my dad is obsessed with submarines, I could like actually remember the words for things sometimes. You would be wrong. I'm not good with the memory thing, which is so funny because I play so many memory games. I don't know, man. I'm also just like having a time with my brain today. I got like, it wasn't even that big of a deal, but because of where I was with my brain skull, I got like a weird comment on my TikTok on Monday that I posted about like my new pieces up for sale, and somebody made a comment about one of the prices, and I was like responded appropriately and all that kind of stuff, and it's really not that big a deal. Does Blastoise have knee pads? But it's like living in my head rent-free, and it's annoying the shit out of me. I think he has knee pads. I think. Like this, maybe? And like... Sorry, I'm gonna mute and blow my nose again after I finish this leg. I don't understand how I am drawing this, but that's okay. I don't know much about most guns, really. I know a little bit. I feel like he has claws. You can tell that I'm really just like not even remotely focused today. I feel like he has like a thumb claw on his feet, maybe? Maybe? Man, I've been staring at Squirtle like that would not be on that side if it was a thumb. Don't do that. I've been staring at Squirtle a bunch because it's on my sleep team, my Pokemon sleep team. Okay, arms. Arms. I feel like I remember he has like piping around his arms. Like a little sleeve dealio. And then just kind of like round arms. Like armor spots. And then I think his hands are kind of like the Niddos, where it's just like claws. Like that. I think. I said I was gonna blow my nose and then I promptly did not do that. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, I'm eating right now. Okay, maybe that's gonna be a little better, I hope, because I don't want to just be a weird sniffler for the entirety of stream. Okay, so his head has to come out from somewhere, because he's a turtle, so like, does he have this kind of opening, perhaps, where his head comes out? I feel like the arm piping connects to something. No, I didn't want to make a shape. Fuck you. I feel like... Right? I mean, really, if you had to pick one of the three originals to really know, it would be Charizard, because we can't get that beast out of our face for love nor money, because he is Pokemon's specialist favorite boy. I think that it has like like that. I'm not making any words that make sense, and it's okay. You know what? Some days we just don't make any sense at all. Okay, so like a shell there. Then I don't remember how all this connects. I'm just gonna do it like this, I guess. Like that. Maybe it goes around the back of the arm too. Hey Dream, how's it going? It's like Squirtle but bigger, but also if he was Angie, I guess. I'm trying to remember the head shape. It's like he has little baby boy ears because he remembers what he once was. And he has like eyebrow ridges, I think. Little baby boy ear. We need 2 of them. Oh, new chair! That's exciting. And then I'm like not drawing this in any way that makes sense. You thought you were going to learn how to do art here? Wrong. I remember that his bottom jaw is like a different color than the top. Stop doing shapes. I'm just pushing on things because I'm uncertain about what I'm doing. Leave me alone. Remember, he has angry triangle eyes. He has like these guys that go like this. You can't even, I've made so many lines that you like can't even see what's going on right now. It's fine. It's fine. We're doing fine. This is going great. Oh gosh, that has to be such an upgrade from a stool. Your back is probably so much happier. I've done a weird angle here. It's fine. We're fine. Because this is kind of just like Pokemon being... No, wrong way. Other way around, brain. Make a sentence. Good lord. It's fine. Oh, great. Yeah, that's not the best. He has... Does he have spiky little teeths? Maybe. I was gonna say, this was like Pokemon asking if they could copy Mario's homework for Bowser, and then being like, just don't make it obvious. That was the joke I was gonna make before my brain quit. I feel like the legs aren't right. I feel like something's wrong here. Also, doesn't he have a tail? Doesn't he have a tail? Is it just... Oh my gosh. Not now, Procreate Shapes. I know that you're helpful, but you are not helping me right now. I think that's right. I also think that the guns are not doing great here. So let's do that a little bit so that I at least vaguely know what I'm doing. Because I think that you can like kind of see in them like that. So it's like me trying to make sense out of a creature that makes absolutely no sense. Because who would just stick a bunch of guns on a turtle? Who would do that? It's a crime. Which way should the gun be facing? I guess this way. It's like you have that bit, and then this bit. That looks like it's aiming directly at his head, though. I've made something here. It's something. I think what I need to do is make another sketch layer. I think that's where we're going. Okay. So, things and stuff that we're improving on this one. Let's start with the head. Let's do that. So we have like kind of a funky little head shape here. And I think maybe I need to make his mouth open a little bit, and that will make me feel better about life. Because it's kind of like this. And then I think he has little teeths, perhaps. And then eye. And little baby boy ears. And then his little nostril. I guess 2 nostrils like that. I think. And I feel like you don't see his neck ever. Maybe. I am pushing like so hard on this pencil today. I don't know what's going on with my brain today. But it sure is something. Okay. I wish you all the best of luck with that endeavor, because I think that you will need it. I think he has like armor lines on his arms. Armor. Get it? Get it? Get it? I have made so many intersecting lines. This is a disaster. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Hum. I feel like the thumb claw is wrong, but I also feel like there's something back there that I'm forgetting. I'm just gonna do that with like a little note. I know this is wrong. Oh, that sounds cool, Cassandora. What? Why are you doing this to me? Can you not? Thank you. Me and my iPad aren't getting along very well today. Also, I think the way that I place this foot makes absolutely no sense, so we're gonna try to fix that right now. Because I think it makes more sense for this foot to be going forward, which is also annoying, but that's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. We can do this. We know how, maybe. That looks awful. Okay. I don't remember. Like, I know, I think if I move this up a little bit, that will help me at the moment. That's gonna mess everything else up, but we're gonna do it right now for the ease. Okay. That's fine. We can do that. Then we want a little tail back here, I think. Maybe? And his little shell edge there. I think this line is not right. It does not make any of the senses. There. That's also not great, but that can go there. We can just intersect all of our lines. That's a great question, and I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't. I do have a photo of this sucker pulled up. Well, in my files to pull up. If I was smart, I would have just like had that ready to go the second that it was requested, but I didn't do that because sometimes you think of smart things after they would be smart. Okay. Yeah, see, this is the thing. This is the thing. Sometimes you think you remember something and you're like, this will be fine, and then this happens. I do think that this gun is going alright, generally speaking. I do think that they probably have it so that you can kind of like see the circle, like how thick it is in there. And I think it probably gets a little bigger there. Then I think that they just do like dark in there. But I don't know how to make this make sense here. Maybe we're just gonna have it like it's looking at you straight on. Because that definitely makes sense. No, I hate that. I hate it. I hate it. I've made issues for myself with this positioning. I'm just gonna have it going this way because I can. Does it really make sense? No. Does anything make sense in our universe? Not really. So in the span of things, I don't think it's that big of a mystery. Soup. I love soup. Yeah, I kind of want to make them like add the little dots down the side, even though I know that that's not right. I think that it's funny. He needs stronger ammo. Okay. I think that's perhaps as close as we are getting. Oh, I didn't add his tum-tum lines. He needs tum-tum lines. This creature's anatomy is so sad. I'm sorry that I did this to you, Blastoise. But it'll be over soon and it'll be okay. They are guns! Blastoise is the main event at the gun show. I also feel like I don't have this like knee pad quite right. But also I don't have any of this quite right, so does it matter? No. This is something. I think the longer we go with these, the more I'm just like trying to give up looking cool, even remotely. Like sometimes I draw one of these and I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually pretty good. I could make real art of this. And sometimes it's just like I allow myself to be uncertain in the process and we end up with things like this. Because this is a creature. That is a fact. I feel like the tail isn't quite right, but I'm gonna throw it in there anyway. Because you know what? Whatever. That's like so much of art. Just going, whatever. It'll work. It'll be fine. Oh, I do need to add lines to that other arm too. Ugh. Ugh. It also probably would have helped if I had switched colors while I was working on this. But, again, I'm just doing whatever I want forever. That's how art works. Trying to remember. I'm trying to remember. We can just end the sentence there, and that's accurate at any moment in my life. But I remember Bulbasaur has red eyes, as many of the grass starters do. And I remember that Blastoise doesn't have black eyes, but I don't think that it's red eyes either. Well, you'd think he'd get red eyes from having frickin' guns attached to him, right? Like the gunpowder and stuff right next to your face? That can't be comfortable. Okay, we're doing this now. And we're just gonna pretend like this is how it's supposed to look, and it's fine. It's fine. I guess that isn't exactly how I wanted to do that. Actually, I've changed my mind a little bit. So it should kind of go like that, I think. No. Fun fact, drawing is hard. Even when you have a reference image, drawing is hard sometimes. Hi, Grim! I will do that in just a second. Let's see here. Leave a. I need to remember when I post this to tag Sky in it on various platforms. Now we need to do is tum-tum lines. And then I will take a drink of water and a stretch. Figure out something nice to say about myself. I had something planned because I was thinking about it because I knew you were going to do it. And I didn't write it down, so now I don't remember. Okay. I think his head looks pretty, like the head shape, I think I'm pretty happy with. I think, oh, I missed a line. Hello. You, right there. You're important. Yeah. So I think the head looks good, and I think everything else here is a little bit of a disaster, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, hydrating. Stretching. Ooh, that was my shoulder. His feet look so bad. Oh, I'm sorry, Blastoise. I'm sorry I did this to you. Let's see. something nice about myself. I had something that's gonna annoy me that I don't remember what it was. Let's see. I'm pleased that I actually got as much done yesterday as I did, even though I was dragging my brain behind me like a 75-pound weight the entire day. That's something. Because I got my new art project announced on my Patreon and everything. What was I doing? Rewards queue. That's what I was doing. Girl, I'm like... Girl, gender neutral. I'm like... a disaster. Wee! I also have been being, like, very... we'll just call it mentally unwell. I've been being very mentally unwell about a woman on the internet, like you do, you know? But, like, that's what I did for my entire lunch break between things, was just watch a woman be strong on the internet. And I'm just... whew. I'm both blessed and mentally unwell about it. Oh, I see. I bet me not being on Tumblr as much is eating into that time. But this is somebody who you know, Grim, because we've talked about it. Lean beef patty. If you're out there, I'm mentally unwell about how attractive you are. I hope you have a nice day. That's the person who did the TikTok that was going around Tumblr with the JoJo poses. Yeah, I've been using TikTok a bit because I'm on there, so I might as well, you know, do that occasionally. And she started posting videos again, and I went down the rabbit hole. She has a YouTube. There's a lot of videos of her working out, and it's just, yeah. Okay, let's color this beast, shall we? Instead of me embarrassing myself. I can't color today either, apparently. Goodness gracious. Yeah. Joy posted, I saw it yesterday, maybe the day before, a guy breaking through eucalyptus with lumberjack things, an axe, and he breaks one of them. I think I reblogged it this morning. I think I did that. I don't remember. But yeah. People needs to stop doing this because I have things to do and I need to focus on other aspects of my life. So can everybody just chill for like 2 days, please? Thank you. And by people, I mean me. Can I chill for like 2 days? Thank you. I guess the nails are probably going to be the same color as that. Right. Probably. Yeah. God, my brain is just like short-circuiting every 3 seconds today. I say today as if this hasn't been happening all week already. It's one of those times where my brain is full of worms. Can I close that all the way? Can I do this? Okay, I can. I didn't really make distinct toenail lines here, but I think there are some. We'll just make them up. It's fine. Okay, I guess the teeths should be this color, maybe. Then blue. then blue. What blue is another question. That doesn't feel quite right. I feel like it's like there. Mayhaps. Did I pick a new layer for this? I think I did. Did I? I did. Okay, good. Like I said, brainworms. That's the theme of the day. I think my brainworms today are like the orange and green sour gummy worms. I think that's the vibe today. What about you guys? What flavor are your brainworms? I don't know that this is quite the right color, but it's close. It's close. I remember the shell is like brown because the shinies is green. And yes, that's a weird way to remember things, but you know what? If it works, I'm not gonna argue with it. And I think the like piping around the shell is actually just straight up white. I think. I am also pretty excited about the food bank challenge for this week. I think it's fun. They had another guest photographer for this one, whose name I don't remember off the top of my head, which is why I have it on the other sheet. On my my thingamahoosit. You know, the thing with the stuff that we do the drawing on. The digital canvas. That's what I'm going for. I don't think that I'm going to do much shading on this because I don't want to. Just in case you were wondering why, it's because I don't want to. It is just a warm-up. Maybe at some point we can do like properly drawing the creatures, not from memory. That seems like it would be smart and make good content for the internet. Maybe we'll have an extra day one of these days where I just sit and draw Pokemon for a while. There is, I mentioned this the other day, Stream Ink, which would be a similar Inktober kind of challenge, is coming up, and they have posted their prompt list. So I think I'm gonna be doing that. It's clearly it's one a day, the same as most of these things. So I wouldn't be streaming all of them, but I could do some of them. I think that's too dark. I think that's better. But I'm thinking I do those as warm-ups when we're doing physical days, as in physical art days. Maybe. Let's see, other things that I have done. I printed out a bunch of sticker backings yesterday, which only made me want to break the printer a la Office Space 3 times, which is honestly pretty impressive. All things considered. Maybe I'll go back to that darker brown to do the fill inside the gun housing. I don't know. I don't know what you call that. inside is shell bits, I guess. Maybe I actually want that darker. Let's do this. My stickers still haven't shipped yet. They're a little overwhelmed at the sticker place, I think. Because they also had a sale like right after I ordered, so I think that they kind of got a little inundated. But maybe someday we will have a sticker packing stream. That would be fun. This color, please. Thank you. Because I will have a lot of stickers to pack. At the very least, on Friday, I can do some cutting of the backings. That would be helpful to me, and I think it will make good sounds because I have one of the big guillotine cutters, and I'll be cutting cardstock, so it will make a good loud sound. Does Blastoise have brown eyes? I think he has brown eyes. I think he has brown eyes. Beautiful brown eyes, I think. That seems right to me. If I'm wrong, so be it. We need more brown-eyed beauties in the world, for sure. I also want to make your eye white. Actually white, please. Thank you. Then I need to do your mouth, which is probably like around that color, knowing Pokemon. Okay. This is my fucked up son, Baja Blast. I love him dearly, and nobody should bully him. Let's just sign this in pencil. It's September. How did that happen? Ooh, that has way too much stabilization to be anything for signing a name. There we go. Okay, let us pull up the correct beast. The correct beast. Let's see how it goes. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. There we go. There. Okay. It's not the worst thing I've ever made. Oh, it's still hidden for you. Here we go. I mean, that's close. He does have a little back claw. What did you decide that I'm dragging around? And can you stop, please? Thank you. Fucking weirdo. So that's not too bad. I remembered the knee pads. He does have a little back claw. His hands are much rounder than I recalled. I do still think that his head shape is the best part of my rendition. The guns are very different shape than I thought they were. And I don't know how those guns work looking at them. That doesn't seem to make sense to me. But as we have discussed, I'm not particularly knowledgeable in the gun realm. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, I mean, that's not the part that I'm not getting. That also doesn't make sense, and that's a valid point. But I mean the barrel shape doesn't make any sense to me. The thing where it like tapers and then gets wider again, what's that about? Like I tried to draw mine like the guns they have on like the decks of battleships. That's was what was in my mind for that. Yeah, 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 yeah. The shape just doesn't make sense, which is fine. I mean, Pokemon doesn't need to make sense. But yeah, okay. We've drawn a Pokemon. That's something that we did. I mean, it's debatable that it's really a Pokemon, but you can go away now, please. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Okay, so this is what we're drawing today for the food paint challenge. And let me bring up the actual reference image. There we go. I also have the liquid paint challenge reference up if I finish this pretty quick and then decide to do that, which I am actually kind of excited about because it looks cool, in my opinion. What are you doing? Stop it. Here we go. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, the popsicle is they said specifically in the image reference that it was salty licorice, which means it's salmiakki. So I got kind of excited about that, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. We need to focus on this lovely little pudding right here. And they did have a guest photographer do this one, Vivian, who is highlighted down there at the bottom, is the one who did the reference photo for this. So yeah. I am gonna do just like digital painting. I don't think I'm gonna do anything super weird with this, but I do think that I'm gonna play with some highlighting colors, perhaps. We'll see. So let's get started, I guess. I don't think I want to trace this one today. I think I want to mess around a little bit. So I do have the reference photo up bigger for me than it is just on stream because I need to use 35,000 different electronics every time I stream or my heart gets sad. I'm 100% joking, just for the record. But I do end up using like a lot of stuff. Hopefully, at some point, I can actually get a proper desktop computer. That's in the plans, and then I can have multiple monitors, and I won't have to think so hard about this stuff. I'm already messing up this perspective, like real bad. Let's try again. I think perhaps starting with the pud is the correct answer here. I say as I start with the plate again. I do think that I want to make it a bit bigger. That is not a good plate shape. My brain is like not present today, I suppose. It's more like that. I think that's a little bit better. Okay. Then we have the pudding, like right in here, like that. Which maybe actually needs to go a bit higher. Let's start new layer so that I can do that separately. Okay. Pudding. I don't know how I want to do the plate pattern. That is another question. I also made that cherry like way too properly round. I don't like it. That's better. I like that better. So we've got a highlight there, another one there, or so. We also have cherry on top, which I think perhaps I have moved this up too far and I'm going to need to move it farther down, which is fine, but it is something to be aware of. We do have a little bit of a fruit butt on this cherry. Just a little bit, a hint of fruit butt. Okay, maybe that's fine actually. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I will still change it. We do have an interesting pudding shape, which is very much like the like generic anime pudding shape is what we've got going on. I think this is just chocolate pudding. Do I actually know? No. That's what it reads as to me. Man, I listed the last batch of the older art yesterday that I'd been working through for like over a month. That's exciting. So my newer stuff is going to start popping out soon. But like, holy heck, that was a lot of work. It's almost like writing 72 listings is work. Who knew? I say that because, or what made me think of it was this song is one of the Year of Lyrics that I think was actually just posted this week. Okay, my nemesis, the spoon. The foreshortening on this one, like, weirds me out. What I really need to do is just, like, go ham with it, I think. Just make it, like, super extreme, and then I'll think it's fun. Then it will be better. Sometimes just making something way more extreme makes it more fun. Also, perhaps just need to remember that art is supposed to be fun and tell my brain to shut the fuck up every once in a while. Which is easier said than done, but we try and we stay silly. Yeah, that's better. I like that better. It still is not the right angle, really, in comparison, but that's alright by me. I do have the design for the spoon handle. I bet there's some like super specific word that somebody in Victorian England came up with for what a spoon handle is actually called. That seems like something Victorian England would do. Okay, so the next issue here is the pattern on the plate. Because it knows a specific pattern, but I also feel like because it's similar in tone to the cherries, it really doesn't pull focus very much, which is impressive, honestly. My chat keeps connecting, like disconnecting and reconnecting. So if I miss something, that's why, and I apologize, and you should just say it again. Just for the record, Twitch has been acting a little funky today for me. So we've got like this series of 3 dots that go around the rim of the plate design, which I don't know why I'm putting it in now. It doesn't really matter. You can barely even see it in the back. So it'll end up just doing like dashes probably. Then we have the kind of, I think maybe I will do the pattern in like a different paint style. Like different plate medium. Thank you, mouse. That was not what I meant, actually. Paint medium brushes. I don't know how one-on-one I want to be with this. Probably not very. I probably want to leave it a little more loosey-goosey. There are a few places here that are very distinct, I think. So we do just have some like splotches that I'm not 100% sure what they are, but there is maybe a rose or something, I'm not sure. But I think doing a bit loose for that is going to work just fine, because if I do that too hard, it's probably going to end up pulling focus a little bit in the drawing, which it doesn't in the photo, but yeah, I think these are like magnolias or roses or something like that, maybe. That's the vibe I'm getting. Now what I should have done is pulled up the Stream Ink prompt list to show you guys. I should have done that, but I didn't. I do not think this shape is quite right. I think that's not too bad. Yeah, I think I've ended up shoving an extra loopy in here. Let's try that again. Apparently I'm just going to talk in weird voices today too, so you're welcome for that. I'm sure that's not at all distracting if you're trying to do something else. I think if I do it like that, that looks better to me. Okay. Let's try doing some painting. This one, I think. Actually, maybe I want to do the flat to start out with. Let's start with a nice rich brown. Thank you, that was not what I meant. Because me being me, I'm gonna make these colors way more intense than they should be. I do want to lighten that up a bit. That's better. I did also download a new art project this past week. Art app. Man, I really cannot brain today. So that's something. It's kind of like pale salmon-y kind of color for the background of the plate. Which I haven't played with much so far, but it seems interesting for the more painty aspect, like this kind of stuff. It's what one of the other hosts of this challenge used for theirs this week, and it looked interesting. And it's free, so I downloaded it. It's like Artage or something like that. I can show you. Hang on. As long as we're still connected. Art Rage. This guy in the bottom right-hand corner. I haven't played with it like a lot, but it seems like it has a lot of good blending possibilities to it. I'm just doing like basic color layers. I think I want to make this like a bit more saturated and purpley brown for the gray. Because it'll still read pretty silvery once I get there. Oh, I do need you to be above the pudding. Thank you. Need to erase some of that at the top of the spoon because I messed that line up. That is easy to fix, not a big deal. I do have some getting used to still to do with the way these brushes kind of blend and change the color beneath it, even though I haven't actually changed the drawing color. And then cherries. Those cherries are like red. But I think I'm gonna start them like around there and brighten them up as we go. I think it's good. Good place to start. Do have some more pink I need to add underneath on that plate. I think that I want to work on the plate pattern first. Just mess with that a little bit. First I want to do that kind of darky blue navy around the rim. I'm probably talking really quiet. I'm sorry. Whew. I'm just talking to myself, as you do. Okay, let's clean up the plate underneath a little bit here. Just because blue should be the edge. There is some white that you can see from like the under edge of the plate, but I don't think I'm gonna mess with that. I don't think that, like, it does give some more depth to it, but I don't think that I want that on the plate. I think I want the plate to be kind of flat, relatively speaking, and then have the pudding really stand out in comparison. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Let's do plate pattern. I'm tempted to play with watercolor brushes for that versus the acrylic and oil brushes. Do like a wash, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I actually do really like that. Okay, let's move on with that then. To just kind of an approximation of this pattern here. I think that bit's a bit of a different color, so let's just do the leafy bits in this color and then move on to a different color for the like petals of what looks like a flower, I think. Some of these are darker colors and some of them have kind of the paler pinky bit. So let's see, there's another leaf over here. So let's do that. Oh, I did also set up my new camera stand for when we do physical art on a Friday, which is really exciting because you guys can actually like see my palette and stuff now. Because the stand is just so much better than what I was using. So thanks again to Aster Kitty for that. It does mean that you guys can actually like see me cutting the sticker backings if that's what we go for on Friday. Do also have other things I could probably be working on for Friday. What exactly though, I'm not sure. Let's see, there's right through here. Okay, I think that gets the idea of the blade across without it being too super distracting. Let's get rid of that. Then I can add the little white dots to the blue rim here. I want to go back to these for that. I want round, probably. Am I on a good layer for that? Yes, okay. Just making sure. Okay. Oh, I didn't actually want that there. Doy. Okay. Let's mess with the spoon. The spoon. That's not dark enough for what I want to do. That's better. Oh, yeah. Oh, interesting. That is a recipe for chaos for sure. Because there are definitely people who are going to mix and match that. Maybe I made that too blue and now it looks weird. Excuse me. Let's try that with a different color. Let's try there. Does that feel better? I don't know. Maybe I need to start doing silverware studies because I really am not good at it. The metallic and the way it changes shapes of everything is not my forte. I do think I need to add some different colors in here. Maybe. Because yeah, that kind of looks like a spoon, but there's something off about it. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's wild. Huh. I think part of it is that I've made it super purple and it looks yellow because it's reflecting the background in the reference photo. I think maybe that's part of why my brain is refusing to accept this. So here's the detail brush. Maybe I want to use that. How thickums are you? 2 thickums. That's getting somewhere. I need to do a little smudgy smudge. Right here. Ooh, that's not little smudgy smudge. That was a lot of smudgy smudge. Okay, I feel a little bit better about the back of the spoon now. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. Sometimes you can find people who would be interested in running it but not playing it, you know? It is rare-ish, but I think part of the issue I have here is the edges aren't smooth. It's like just changing that a little bit makes me feel very differently about it. But also, this is just the spoon and not the main focus. So perhaps I need to stop being crazy about it. As if I could do that. I think I need to lighten that up a little bit, but not like a lot. Was I using that one? No, this one. I just want a little bit lighter right through here. I think that feels better. I think now the head of the spoon is the issue. And that is not going to match the reference photo because I have made some sins involving perspective. I think in order to make this more spoon-like, I need to darken there and do a little bit lighter right through here. That's better, a little bit. It's still a little wonky, but wonky is allowed. Okay. I want to do the cherries next, or do I want to do the pudding next? I think maybe I'm actually going to do neither of those things, and I am actually going to set the background to a proper color and work on the background a bit. This is like a really bright yellow, but I'm gonna give it a little bit of an oranger tone maybe than it is actually. I think that looks good. And then add some shading underneath stuff here. I have need mail. I do not care about it. It does sound like a cool system though, for the game. Shading. I'm doing shading. I'm just like does that look like? I like that. Okay, and you are still on flat. Yes, thank you. Okay. I may actually do. There we go. That's better. I was gonna say I might actually use the shaper tool for that, but I think I managed it just fine. Or at least in a way that I'm not mad about. Okay. That's about like what it is. Ish. Okay. Do I want to lighten that a little bit? Yeah, like that. Okay. I think cherries now. So I don't think that I want to use that one. I think I want to use that one. Oh, I also still need to put in the stems. That's something I need to do. Oh, interesting. Well, yeah, obviously. Aren't they all trans? Don't they put the trans in Transformers? Right? 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 Trans! Let's go! That needs more red and less orange to it. I think let's go somewhere in there. See how I feel about that. I think that is a vaguely acceptable cherry to me. Let's work on this guy up top. So we do need some spots of the lighter color through here, and like right up there. And the rest of this needs to get quite a bit darker. Man, working with these digital brushes and also just watching all of the other amazing artists that I've been seeing makes me want to actually try oil painting again, but I know that's the devil of capitalism talking because I just want to buy stuff. And oil painting is not a cheap hobby. I say hobby as if I wouldn't sell stuff and make it a professional thing, but like, let's be real, I don't have that money lying around. Oh, Bad Idea Bear has popped into chat, although I do get my free Alaska money coming sometime soon. Although I should use that for doing flooring and stuff downstairs so that I can actually start using that as a space to do stream and things. Guys, my sticker order just shipped! Let's go! So that means that we're probably doing a sticker packing stream on Friday, and I am so excited! Yeah! Let's go! I'm really excited about these stickers. I'm so pleased with how they came out. And even though I didn't win the Ko-fi challenge last month, they did feature my sticker set, the Halloween one, which is incredible, on the Twitters, which is nice. Because, like, yeah, Twitter is slowly dying, but I got a lot of attention and some new coffee followers off of it, so. Oh, excuse me. So I will take a win when I can get one, for sure. I'm giving this cherry much more of a butt than it actually has, because I think that I deserve a little treat, and that treat is a cherry butt. I do want to do some more orangey kind of up here, maybe lighter than that for the highlight. I would do yellow, but I don't want it to blend into the background too much, because like right here is a highlight color-wise and not light-wise per se, and like right through here. Sticker order. I'm gonna need to do product shots too for them, because some of them, like the cat in specific, is a little bit conceptual and difficult to explain for me, because I made it so that it's in two parts, so you can like place it around a label or something. So I think that will need some good product shots that you guys can help me with maybe on Friday. There's something about this that I think maybe I just need to go like way darker at the base here of the cherry. Perhaps blend it into the jello a bit. I'm sure it'll look better once I get the pudding actually shaded. I think that's fine, I guess. But because so many of the stickers I do have clear edging instead of white edging, I really do need to take like proper photos of them just so that you know what you're actually getting. I didn't get any wild finishes or anything this time. Like I didn't do any of the glitter finishes, which are just an absolute pain in the butt to photograph. They look great, but they are just the absolute worst to try to photograph. Okay, let's do detail brush and do the highlights on here, because I think that will make me feel better about how this is going. And I do think that in the actual reference photo, these highlights are very blue tinted, but I'm not gonna do that because I don't know, I just don't want to. I'm so excited to get my stickers. I'll probably open them on stream just because, like, why not? Why would I not do that? But they also always send, or have, and all of my other orders sent a dum-dum in the package, so I get a little treat on top of my little treat, and it's excellent. So it's kind of a little bit highlight here. Just a little bit though. I'm adding a little highlight around his little cherry butt. He's got a little cherry butthole down here, and we're going to acknowledge that and let him have his little butthole. Because who am I to take that away from this little cherry? Little cherry butt. And let's do up here. Got a nice strong highlight right here. And a couple through the bottom. That I need this one to be more intense. Maybe this one too. So I did smooth that out quite a bit. But I have made that a completely different cherry up top, but I'm okay with that. Let's do another layer and do the stems here. I think I want it to be more on the yellow tinge there, right about there maybe. How's that look? I think that's good actually, but I don't want to use that brush. I'm going to use this brush perhaps. Yeah. Okay. I like how I did a sketch for this and then like almost immediately disregarded it. You know what that is? That's gross. I think I'm making this like kind of the wrong angle, but I want it to feel like it's wrapping around the pudding. Wrapping around the pudding. Let's also get this one going just while I have this color going. I may need to turn that a bit more blue up here just to make it stand out from the background a little bit better. Just block that in with green now, and that's fine. I can do the same thing down here. And then let's move to a browner color and move to the detail brush. Bum, 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 bum. Here is where I'm probably going to discover that the colors I chose for the pudding and for the top of the cherry stem are a bit too tonally similar. But we can adjust. do think adding some more yellow to this stem for the highlights instead of just a lighter color is going to help also. Add a bit of yellow, greeny up here. Probably do a bit of a bluer green on the inside for the shadow. I think if I add too much yellow up here, it's just going to blend into the background. So let's work on a bit of bluer here. That. Right in here. That disconnected. When did that disconnect? Thank you so much. That's so helpful of you to do. Connect, please. Connect, please. Connect, please. Come on, buddy. There we go. There we go. Alright. You wanna actually refresh on the actual stream layout, buddy? What you doing? Okay, let's... You wanna, like, actually update? No? Are you frozen, Streamlabs? Are you frozen? What's going on? Okay, let's try doing that. Does that fix it? Nope. Let's try changing it to something else. That should do absolutely nothing, and then we can switch back to this, and maybe it will be better. You good now, bud? Okay, there we go. That was so helpful of you. Thank you so much. Okay. I was adding darker color to this. That's what I was doing. Okay. I do think that the edge of that is getting a bit muddied into the background. But I think that's okay, and I think that means we can move on to the pudding. But first, I am going to take a quick break, which means I'm going to read some ads while I'm stepping away. So if you don't want to see that, which I totally understand, you can mute, you can look away, you can cover your computer screen with, I don't know, a towel or something if you felt like it. You can do whatever you feel like is right for you. I won't judge you. But let me switch to the Be Right Back screen, and I'll just be like a minute, and then I will come back. Okay, I have returned. I feel like I made my pudding too skinny, which is funny to me. But it is also fixable. So let's get a nice warmy brown going. Even though it's a cooler brown in the actual photo, I like a warm brown, so that's what we're gonna work with. I also did not really make the top flat enough, I think is another issue. So let's work on that a little bit. Because there is just like this flat area, and then it goes into the, I don't know what the right word for that shape is. The flutes, the fluted, the little wibblies. I do think that's not quite the right brown color I want at this precise moment. I also think I'm gonna make this smaller for a second. Because I kind of want to carve this stuff out a little bit. So that I vaguely know what I am doing. Let's see if I can manage that. Actually, maybe I'm going to start with a lighter color and then work with the darker. I'm not sure how I want to do this. Let's be real. I don't know what I'm doing. That's part of art, baby. It's just messing around until you figure it out. So there really is just like this shine right through here. A little bit here, kind of like a rim lighting situation. That's all pretty dark. That isn't though. Because we really have like the bright here on the edge of stuff. The way the pudding reflects things is very interesting, and I don't understand it. Do I understand anything though? Not really. Though I did actually explain something well to somebody earlier today. That's probably the say something nice about myself that I was trying to remember and couldn't. Somebody was asking about why people are so weird about other people not drinking alcohol, like choosing to not drink. And I got to explain a few fun, quote unquote, anthropological things about that. And they said that I explained it well. And I actually made them interested in anthropology a little bit because of that. So that was fun. It's nice to know that I didn't completely waste my college degree, that I did actually learn things. Right through here, it isn't really as bright, so that's going to be a bit more of a difficulty, I think. Figuring out how to do this properly. And I remember that I did one less edge on here than actually existed, which maybe I will end up changing. Let's see, we've got a bit there, a bit there. Let's see. Okay, that's looking a little bit more like something now. Let's continue poking at it. Because we do have some darker colors, some dark areas right through here. definitely down by the spoon. Which I am probably going to need to way blur out some of this since the spoon handle goes in front. See, and here is where me messing up the perspective on my sketch is going to come back to bite me in the butt, as art does often. It's almost like if you don't do your sketch properly and then you follow that sketch, the end result also doesn't end up properly. Who knew? I do think that I should have made this darker color a bit more saturated. I think it's a bit dead looking, but we can mess with that in a bit too. And just plop some more saturated tones over the top. Okay. I see that I've also not really placed the cherry correctly here, but that's okay. We can make this part up. I do think that this isn't really going to look right until we do the actual like super high highlights on this, but I do also think that I need to make the bumbles a bit more obvious. And I also think that I want to add more saturation to this as a whole. Let's do some detail stuff right through here. To bring in some more color. Okay, I'm a bit happier with that. as a whole. I think that this spot right here is looking a little bit wonky. I feel like it's not following the right curve of the rest of it. Is that better? A little bit. Okay, I think that it is highlight time, but there are two different colors of highlights going on. We've got kind of a yellow going on as like a softer highlight, and then we have a blue going on for the super intense highlights. What do you look like? Good, I like that. Let's work with that. So we're going to do some of both of those. I think that's a bit too intense. I think I probably want to do this on its own layer, just so that I can lighten it up afterwards a bit, if I feel like it. Let's do kind of like this here. I am realizing that I really did not eat enough lunch, which like I knew at the time, but sometimes you think maybe you can get by. Nah, not today. I probably, once we finish this, I'll probably end stream and get a little snack. So otherwise I'm gonna be hungry. Also, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm like raring to go play Cornucopia some more. Because I haven't gone very far in it, but I'm like very gung-ho about figuring things out. Yeah, I am playing it on Steam Deck instead of like actual computer, which adds another funky little layer to things. Some of the controls, like it's still in early access, and some of the controls just don't work super well for Steam Deck, which is valid. I'm not expecting them to like have that ready to go immediately right off the bat. I think I'm gonna blur this out a little bit. Let's do this. Not that intense, thank you. I want to actually do the detail brush. I'm liking my Stream Deck so far though, or Steam Deck. I keep doing that. I did that when I was talking to my dad when he asked what I wanted for my birthday too. Just, their names are too similar. But it definitely has opened up a whole new world of gaming for me, which is great. Because, sorry Nintendo, but you lost me. I still do play a couple Nintendo titles, but overall, I'm not a Nintendo bitch anymore. Their lack of accessibility settings has finally done it for me, and I'm over it. It's like, yes, there is DLC coming out for the new Pokemon games soon, but also if I play those games for more than like 45 minutes at a time, I get a migraine. So I'm not really feeling it, not gonna lie. I think that's a bit better, but also too intense. I think it needs to go like there. And then we want to do some blue highlights, kind of like in that range, I think. With the detail brush, because we have some kind of like, must be like a window set or something behind. Or it could just be the ring lights, I guess. That would also make sense. I think I haven't really made this look shiny enough. I think I might need to mess with that a little bit more. It's like, yes, this will help with the looking shiny, but I also think there's some other lighting aspects that I have not captured very well that I will want to mess with in a little bit here. Have softer lighting over here, but I still want to bring the same colors a bit over here. I'm just going to add a little bit. That's more than what I really wanted to add, but I think it looks fine. I can also smooth it out a little bit. That's better. Okay. Let's see here. Because that does look shiny, but there's like another level of shine to it that I think I need to do. In kind of the orangey realm, perhaps. So let's mess with that a little bit. So we've kind of got a bit of light going through here. Oh, I've been shrimping too hard. I can feel myself getting a headache. Hey. Oops. Okay. Blend this out a bit. I think that's a little bit better. I'm happier with that. I still think the right side of this is looking a little wonky, but I think I'm gonna just let it exist like that, maybe? I'll stare at it a little bit and see if I really want to fix it. I do think that even though it's not really there, I want to add a higher highlight to the handle of the spoon. I also need to blend out the pudding from around the spoon handle there. Let's just like that. Then this right here. I want you to be a bit smaller so you can just maybe I just straight up need to erase that. Ooh, not like that. Too much, dial it back. think I could stand to work on the top of this stem a little bit more. So let's play with that. Maybe I just want to straight up do like a black and be that dramatic about it. So I think that will show up better. Okay. Is there anything else I want to do to this? I don't know that there is. I guess sign it is generally what you do, but I think this turned out pretty okay. Anything else I want to do to it? I don't think so. Okay, I'm calling that done. Because I'm done with it. So there you go. Let's use the detail brush, I guess, to do it's the 9th month, the 5th day. No, I actually hate that, so let's not do that. And let's use my classic sign pen. I guess I usually put Tender Katie Bean on these too, don't I? Do I? I don't remember anything. Whatever. Let's do it. If you had told me when I created the name Tender Katie Bean that I'd still be going by it like a decade and a half later, I would have been absolutely appalled. Because I definitely, when I made that, did not think I was going to be staying in Alaska. See how that worked out. Okay, there we go. We have created an art. Because yeah, I made this username when I moved up to Alaska in 2006. Just for the record, I accidentally branded myself with this username, which is fine. Like it's a good username, and it does just fine. But definitely not what I was thinking when I made it when I was 17 years old. Okay. Do I want to do anything else today? I don't know that I possibly do. Yeah, having a single username for that long probably makes you start to itch. Just the thought of it. Because you change yours like every 3 months, right? I don't even remember what I originally knew you as, if I'm being honest. I guess I didn't really put a shadow on the plate for like the cherry or anything, but I kind of like it, so I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to find somebody for us to raid. I've been trying to do 3-hour streams, but I'm starting to not feel great. Like my head is starting to hurt pretty bad. And it's been like close to 2.5, so I think that's reasonable, a reasonable amount of time for today. So let me go see who else is on the Twitch sphere. If I can brain well enough to remember how to type in a address. That I can close. Trying to make it as easy on my laptop as possible. Not that any of this is easy for her, the poor girl. Let's see. Lib is live. We can go bother Lib. Because I'll probably end up hanging out there anyway. Okay. Let me pull their stream up. Just so that I'm not that idiot who suddenly realizes that I didn't even put the actual stream up when they start trying to talk to me. Okay, I'm trying to remember what originally I had you down as, and I don't remember anymore. Because I just know you're gonna change, so it's just like a temporary slot in my brain. Your name is the equivalent of a post-it that has fallen off the wall 3 times, and I keep sticking back up. That's just how my brain works, which is, as you can tell, this is why my stream layouts are like this. This is because this is what my brain looks like, except this is like the nice version of it, because there's only so many sticky notes. Let's see, I can make that go away right now. Brain function, who is that? I just keep stopping. We're rating, that's what we're doing. Let me switch over to the ending screen really fast here so that I can close my stream mirroring thing so that my laptop can maybe have a breath. Just one breath before we raid out. Okay. This button, this button. Can I spell? No, I can't. Okay, so Lib is just doing a just chatting stream right now. I think they said they were going to be a bit tired today because they had to wander over to a dentist at some point today. So I'm not sure what their deal is, but they're super nice and they're also an artist and they were like super sweet to me and actually followed me back on social medias, which is so nice. So nice. Because they're like actually a person who does more things than me. So that was very nice of them. Lib's pronouns are they, them, just for the record. And they're very queer friendly and are also a furry, just because I know my brand here and we approve of furries in this world. So they are actually doing something involving their foot emote over and over again. So that's fun. So thank you for being here. Thanks for chatting, hanging out, putting up with me rambling and not really saying anything of importance today. Remember that you're loved. Be kind to yourselves. Take care of yourselves. And if you can't do it for yourself, do it for me, please, because I think that you deserve nice things. And I will see you on Friday when we're hopefully packing up all the new stickers. So I'm excited about that. So see you next time. Bye.